Yu Hua, China in 10 Words. Welcome to the summarized world of China in 10 Words by Yu Hua, a book that provides a personal and insightful viewpoint on China's transformational history through the lens of 10 key words. Experience the overarching message of China's evolving identity as the author takes you on a journey exploring the impact of the Cultural Revolution, the role of leadership, reading culture, writing, economic growth, and more. Discover the common themes and the far-reaching consequences of cultural upheavals, political struggles, and socioeconomic disparities. This summary offers an engaging and accessible look at China's past and present through the author's own experiences and the meanings behind important Chinese concepts.
Unraveling Yu Hua's Insights. Yu Hua's literary works delve into the intricate facets of human nature and society, presenting readers with thought-provoking themes wrapped in brilliant storytelling. From exploring personal choices to scrutinizing the profound implications of widespread social changes, Yu Hua effortlessly weaves emotional, intellectual, and moral complexities into remarkable narratives. His captivating prose draws readers into introspection and dialogue, while gracefully demonstrating his profound grasp of the human experience. Step into Yu Hua's world and experience the depth of his understanding firsthand. The evolution of the people. Growing up in 1960s China, author Yu Hua experienced the significance of the idea of the people firsthand, as it was essential to the nation's identity during the Cultural Revolution. The concept stressed the importance of the collective over individuals and aimed for everyone to be equal. However, this term lost its prominence after the 1989 Tiananmen Square protests. In the aftermath, the Chinese people were divided into smaller categories rather than continuing to emphasize a collective identity. During the 1960s, the people was a pivotal term in China, with Yu Hua, the author, learning to write it even before penning his own name. The concept emerged as a vital cornerstone during the turbulent years of the Cultural Revolution, which began in 1966 under Mao Zedong's leadership. The revolution sought to strengthen the Communist Party's control over the nation, eradicating prior norms. In line with the Communist vision, the idea of the people emphasized the collective, depicting a society where everyone, peasants, workers, soldiers, and intellectuals, stood on equal footing. Though Mao was a dictator, he claimed he personified the people, citing a popular saying, "Chairman Mao is the people, and the people are Chairman Mao." Throughout the latter half of the 20th century, the term remained significant until the 1989 Tiananmen Square protests shifted the narrative. Following reformist leader Hu Yaobang's death, students gathered in the central square of Beijing, demanding an end to corruption and advocating for democratic freedoms. Briefly, a strong sense of unity prevailed, with people uniting in the city, even criminals refraining from theft to join the demonstrations. However, this unity was short-lived. In June, the army forcefully dispersed the protesters, ending the movement. After extensively reporting the crackdown, state TV channels ceased all discussion of the event, effectively silencing it from historic records. The concept of the people gradually lost its footing, as Chinese citizens have since been divided into narrower classifications, such as migrants, stockholders, or celebrity enthusiasts, rather than a diverse yet unified population. Mao's legacy, Lingxiu Redefined. In 1966, Mao Zedong's athletic display in Wuhan bolstered his image as the embodiment of the Chinese concept for a leader, or Lingxiu. This idea emphasizes leaders being close to the people, and Mao went to great lengths to demonstrate this in various ways. However, after his death in 1976, the concept of Lingxiu lost much of its significance as China transitioned to collective leadership. Today, the term leader is applied to more humble roles in society. Despite this, many Chinese citizens still yearn for a real leader akin to Mao, believing a return to such leadership would be beneficial. In the summer of 1966, Chairman Mao Zedong made a widely publicized appearance in Wuhan, joining a mass swimming event in the icy waters of the Yangtze River. His display of vigor and athleticism at 72 years old bolstered his image as a true Lingxiu, aligning with the Chinese concept of a leader who maintains close connections with the people. Mao reinforced this through actions like supporting public criticism of state officials and even issuing his own statements condemning their actions, further cementing his popularity among the masses. However, the concept of Lingxiu experienced a decline in importance after Mao's death in 1976, coinciding with China's transition toward collective leadership. Once Mao's soul-beaming face greeted the public, now the smiles and waves of senior Chinese Communist Party members expressed the country's new governance structure. This change is reflected in the modern understanding of the word leader. Today, the term is applied to various roles like youth leaders, real estate moguls, and beauty contest winners, shifting away from its previous association with national figureheads. Despite this cultural shift, a longing for a real leader like Mao persists in China. When a satirical text circulated in 2009 claiming Mao had been cloned and was taking on the country's corrupt elite, many citizens were intrigued and hopeful. Subsequent polls indicate that a remarkable 85% of the public believe a Mao-like figure would be a positive force in the country. Unfolding China's reading culture. As a child of the Cultural Revolution, the author takes us through the 4 phases of China's reading culture. Initially, access to books was extremely limited with only Chairman Mao's works available. Later, rare and prohibited books circulated among students, who would copy them despite legibility issues. Creative minds turned to big character posters for stories, even when the content was scandalous. With the end of the Cultural Revolution in 1976, Chinese bookstores received their first shipments, and the once restricted world of literature started to open, allowing the author's passion for reading to finally flourish. From the ashes of the Cultural Revolution in China, the author shares his experience of an evolving reading culture throughout his childhood. In the beginning, books were virtually non-existent, leaving only Mao's selected works and his quotations, the Little Red Book, as the primary texts in most households. Despite their dry content, the author found solace in the biographical footnotes, unearthing nuggets of interest. During his school years, a handful of battered and forbidden books began to slowly circulate among students. Desperate to consume these foreign titles, the author acquired a copy of Dumas' La Dame aux Camélias and painstakingly transcribed it, a common yet challenging practice, due to varied handwriting styles. An active imagination led the author to explore big character posters for stories, extracting what he could from sensational content, until he discovered anatomical diagrams in his parents' medical books. Reading then transcended beyond books. The conclusion of the Cultural Revolution in 1976 brought a new era of access to literature. In 1977, rationed book supplies prompted eager customers to form lengthy lines overnight, hoping to secure a cherished book token. While the supply was limited, and only some received tokens, the author recognized a cultural shift. Soon, more books arrived and the once confined realm of literature broadened, allowing his enthusiasm for reading to thrive. Unraveling a revolutionary writer. In 1973, a schoolgirl called Huang Shuai denounced her teacher in the Beijing Daily, setting off a chain of events leading to a writing revolution. Young writers like Yu, taking on the identity of red pen authors, began writing in support of the Cultural Revolution. A dentist by trade, Yu pursued his passion for writing and ultimately found success through dark stories reflecting the violence he'd encountered in his youth. However, plagued by nightmares, he decided to put an end to his obsession with violence. The 1973 letter from a young Huang Shuai to the Beijing Daily sent shockwaves through society, as it exposed the mistreatment of students by teachers. This bold move resonated with youths, inspiring the rise of rebellious writers like Yu. Aligned with the Cultural Revolution's goals, Yu and others embraced the red pen persona and crafted their words to challenge the status quo. Yu, writing under the pen name Spring Shoots, and his friends initially produced big character posters decrying their school's faculty. This revolutionary act earned them admiration from the local propaganda team. Unsatisfied, Yu then penned a play about peasants outsmarting their exploitative landlord. After school, Yu worked as a dentist but never abandoned his desire to write. Realizing that a career in the arts promised a more relaxed life, he sought entry into the cultural center. Yu diligently wrote stories and, in 1983, secured a publication in Beijing Literature magazine which allowed him to pursue his dream. Yu's early work delved into the deep, dark recesses of violence, reflecting his childhood experiences during the Cultural Revolution. The son of a surgeon, he grew up witnessing bloodshed in medical procedures, and the execution of prisoners on local beaches. Despite the literary impact of his gruesome writing, it took a toll on Yu personally, haunting his dreams with vivid images of being shot. Fearing a complete emotional collapse, Yu ultimately turned away from focusing on violent themes. Rediscovering literary giants. Growing up in the Cultural Revolution, Chinese children mainly encountered just two writers, Mao Zedong and Lu Xun, the latter championed by Mao for his critique of the society of that time. Lu became an indisputable authority, with only Mao being quoted more than him. However, Yu Hua, the narrator, didn't appreciate Lu's work until years later. Limited exposure to authors and coerced reading left Yu disillusioned even after the end of the Cultural Revolution when criticism of Lu surged. In 1996, Yu revisited Lu's stories with a fresh perspective, which led him to admire Lu's unique style, conceding that true appreciation stems from a mature, insightful lens. During the Cultural Revolution, Yu Hua, like many Chinese children of that era, was only familiar with two writers, Mao Zedong, the revolutionary leader, and Lu Xun. This early 20th century author intrigued Mao due to his staunch criticism of contemporary society. Consequently, the Communist Party used his works to undermine old institutions and customs, elevating Lu to legendary status. Lu's pervasive authority was such that he became a popular debating trump card in school. Yu recalls using Lu's words, regardless of their authenticity, to sway arguments in his favor, a tactic his classmates rarely dared to dispute. Yet, despite Lu's significant influence, Yu initially struggled to genuinely appreciate his writing. Classroom indoctrination and a limited pool of literature even spurred some discontent towards the esteemed author. As the Cultural Revolution waned, newfound liberty allowed the public to voice criticisms of Lu's work, sparking a re-evaluation of his once untouchable status. Many claimed that Lu had been overrated. Yu agreed with this sentiment until 1996 when, upon being asked to consult on a film adaptation of Lu's stories, he revisited the works. Analyzing them through the lens of maturity and sensitivity, Yu was astonished by the depth and richness of Lu's style. This newfound admiration led Yu to the conclusion that Lu's reputation, though tainted by political manipulation, was ultimately well-deserved. China's gemming, a risky foundation. Western thinkers often connect economic growth with political democracy, raising the question of how China, marked by rapid growth, fits into this perspective. The concept of gemming, encompassing risk-taking and instability, offers an explanation for China's unique situation, tracing back to the mid-20th century. From the Great Leap Forward to the contemporary expansion of universities and internal political conflicts, the spirit of gemming influences China's economic development, providing an unstable foundation for its growth. China's current success traces back to the tradition of gemming, a propensity for risk-taking and instability that has shaped Chinese history. The Great Leap Forward in 1958 demonstrated this penchant for exaggeration and overconfidence, as provincial officials made lofty claims about agricultural advancements that were largely unachievable. The resulting famine, leading to millions of deaths, revealed the limitations of gemming's recklessness. Today's China remains shaped by this attitude, as officials continue to brag about constructing massive infrastructure projects without enough demand to support them. Even seemingly positive developments, like the expansion of universities, hide serious concerns. Universities in China suffer from financial strains, and over 1 million graduates each year struggle to secure employment. Influence from the Cultural Revolution also persists in modern China, exemplified by the ruthless competition between civil servants. Episodes of intense fighting over official seals, essential for validating documents, showcases the power plays and chaos that haunt the political culture. A striking incident in 2008 revealed these tensions when a party secretary used force to seize a governmental seal from the chairman of the board. In essence, the spirit of gemming continues to shape China's growth. Despite the nation's impressive economic advances, this progress is built on unstable foundations due to a political culture defined by risk-taking and instability. Chaju, China's rich-poor disparity. When a film crew in southwest China introduced soccer to children from a poor village in 2006, little did they know they created a metaphor for Chinese socio-economic disparity. Although China was approaching the status of the world's second-largest economy in 2010, it ranked 100th in per capita income due to the 1:3 urban-to-rural income gap. Desperate consequences of this inequality can be seen in people resorting to unauthorized sales, evoking parallels to the past's need to sell food coupons. However, people are more desperate now, which is evidenced by a vendor who killed an official to avoid arrest. The difference today is the widened gap between the rich and the poor, with many feeling they have nothing left to lose. Grassroots power shifts. The concept of grassroots or Chaozhen reflects the rise of ordinary people from humble beginnings to power and success. China's economic boom has given birth to a new class of self-made millionaires, often hailing from peasant backgrounds. However, their success often comes at a high cost. Many find remaining at the top difficult due to financial and political turmoil. This rise and fall phenomenon is reminiscent of China's Cultural Revolution, where political shifts caused rapid reversals of fortune. Overall, these stories showcase the redistribution of power towards the grassroots in both political and economic arenas. Once upon a time, grassroots, or Chaozhen, in Chinese simply referred to the roots of a grass plant. However, the meaning evolved to signify ordinary people making their mark in the world, climbing the social ladder from humble beginnings to dazzling success. In today's China, the term marks the rise of hardworking peasants turned millionaires. Blood chiefs are exemplary Chaozhen figures, who profit from the blood trade by purchasing blood from poor peasants and selling it to hospitals and private clients. These individuals amass impressive wealth, enough to buy luxurious apartments in shiny new high-rises. Other grassroots success stories include the garbage king, who flourished by purchasing waste from street sorters and reselling it to factories, and the emergence of button and sock kings who journeyed down similar paths. However, reaching the summit of wealth and power is often easier than maintaining that success. Between 2000 and 2010, around 49 self-made tycoons stumbled, losing their fortune and status by way of dubious financial deals, corruption, or ill-gotten gains. Wealth, as it turns out, has an unerring ability to attract trouble. Reflecting on China's Cultural Revolution, the fast rise and fall of these self-made figures uncovers an intriguing historical parallel. Wang Hongwen's story encapsulates this phenomenon. Wang, initially a security guard at a textile mill in 1966, plunged into politics and formed a revolutionary organization. His meteoric rise saw him become the third most influential figure in the Communist Party by 1973. However, politics proved fickle. Wang was imprisoned in 1976 for organizing and leading a counter-revolutionary clique. Other local grassroots leaders faced similar destinies during the 1960s and 1970s, often ending in imprisonment or suicide. These experiences of rapid ascents and declines, both during the Cultural Revolution and the modern economic boom, illustrate the continuing reallocation of power toward the grassroots. In the past, this power manifested politically, whereas today, the focus lies on economic prowess. Regardless of the specific setting, the reversal of fortune remains a central theme, reflecting the volatile nature of change and power at the grassroots level. Embracing the Shanzhai culture. Yu began his career as a dentist without any formal training, relying on his boss for guidance. Eventually, he realized his role was a manifestation of the Chinese concept, Shanzhai, which embraces imitation and copycats. The idea originated during the rise of knockoff cell phones, and its appreciation traces back to the Cultural Revolution, where rebellion was encouraged. Today, the Shanzhai culture remains prominent, focusing on disrupting the state-owned economy rather than political leaders. In his early years, Yu learned dentistry through hands-on experience, having no prior medical education. Guided by his chain-smoking boss, who started as a street tooth puller, Yu's knowledge of dental procedures was far from perfect. As he pondered his unconventional beginnings, he discovered the Chinese term Shanzhai, or copycat, which aptly described his professional journey. Shanzhai differs from its English counterpart, carrying more positive connotations. It even validates fake and pirated products. The term gained popularity with the emergence of counterfeit Samsung and Nokia phones. Since their manufacturers avoided research and development costs, these copycats were sold at significantly lower prices and quickly infiltrated the market. Nowadays, Shanzhai products hold a unique position in society, being viewed as more of a practical alternative rather than an illegal annoyance. Yu himself encountered pirated versions of his own books and encountered a journalist who fabricated an interview with him. Both incidents were justified by the concept of Shanzhai. To comprehend Shanzhai's widespread acceptance, one must look back at China's Cultural Revolution. Mao's 1966 declaration that rebellion was justified sparked a shift in power dynamics. As political structures collapsed, copycat leadership took over, turning the revolution into a massive movement. Although the revolutionary fervor has since faded, the Shanzhai spirit remains strong. Today, these economic disruptors aim to overthrow the state-owned economy instead of the political leaders themselves, making Shanzhai an enduring force in Chinese society. The Art of Bamboozling. The Chinese word huyo, once describing an unsteady swaying motion, now means bamboozle, referring to acts of deception without any negative connotation. This word gained popularity in the early 2000s and has since been used to describe various acts that involve bluff or cheat, ranging from harmless exaggeration to more sinister manipulation. Though sometimes amusing, bamboozling can lead to unpredictable consequences and moral dilemmas. Initially describing the unstable movement of a fishing boat amidst waves, the Chinese word huyo evolved into the modern equivalent of bamboozle, or to deceive through exaggeration. This transformation began in the early 2000s after comedian Zhao Benshan successfully used huyo in a skit about an absurd scam, encapsulating the word's essence. Soon, this term became widely recognized, often meaning acts of trickery and exaggeration without negative connotations. Observers claim that neutralizing deceit is cause for concern, and various examples of huyo support this argument. For instance, one man lied to his wife about their new home's conditions to persuade her to move, an act that she now recalls humorously. In a different, more serious scenario, a desperate entrepreneur used intimidation and threats to acquire money for an advertising slot, an incident later dismissed as huyo. While amusing at times, bamboozling can introduce unforeseen consequences and ethical quandaries. The author recalls feigning illness to avoid chores as a child, only to undergo an unplanned surgery after convincing his father of his appendicitis. This humorous yet thought-provoking story demonstrates how bamboozling can sometimes backfire, inviting unforeseen consequences and turning the tables on the trickster.
In summary, China in 10 Words offers a captivating look at China's journey through its shifting political, cultural, and economic landscapes. Yu Hua's personal experiences and reflections bring the evolving meanings behind significant Chinese concepts to life. Through understanding the history and implications of the people, leadership, reading and writing, revolution, disparity, grassroots, copycat, and huyo, we gain a clearer view of China's struggles, triumphs, and the issues facing the nation to this day. The author's unique perspective serves as a valuable window into a complex country, highlighting the importance of these 10 words in understanding both its past and present.